Hey, real quick, if you're a podcaster and you've been feeling like you're doing this alone or you're close to giving up, I get it. Podcasting can feel like a solo mission, but it doesn't have to be. You should check out Podground. At Podground, you'll find other hosts who actually get it. You can connect with podcasters from around the world, apply for grants, learn tips, tools, and strategies, join networking events, meetups, and even trivia nights. You'll get real support, feedback, and connections that matter. Don't quit your show or your dream. Come find your people at podground.io. That's podground.io. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of I Made a Podcast. My name is Chris Creary and I'm so glad that you're here. Now, in this episode, we are continuing my coaching in the open sessions and we are doing part 3 with Miles today, the very last session that I had with him. Now, if you've been following along, we have been going from the initial idea of starting a podcast and building the framework and understanding why we need to do what we need to do as podcasters to now in this part number 3 of this conversation with Miles, we're going to tie up all of the loose ends and he is going to be able to launch his podcast and know how to get it out there into the world so that it makes a huge impact and that he can reach the people that he intends for it to reach. All right. So if you have been following along in this process, listen up and you can do some of the things that Miles is doing for his podcast that we talked about in this episode. Now, if you have an idea for a podcast and you think that it's time to launch or you're not sure, I have something that will help you. It's called my podcast readiness assessment. It's a multiple choice assessment where you just need to answer the questions and then click a button and then it will let you know if you're ready to launch your podcast or if you need a little bit of work. But I'm not going to leave it like that. If your podcast does need a little bit more work before you can launch it, it also gives you personalized recommendations, tells you specifically the things, the areas that you need to work on based on your inputs that you put into the assessment. All right. So if you want to take that assessment, there's a link in the description that you can click on and you'll be able to take the assessment. It's absolutely free. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this conversation with Miles. I know that it's going to help you in your podcasting journey, so let's get into it right now. Oh man, okay, cool. So, hello everyone, welcome back to I Made a Podcast. This is part number 3 of my conversation with Miles. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well, Chris. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, are you excited?
I'm nervous.
Nervous? Why?
I'm an overthinker. And I'm stepping into new territory, uncharted water, so it's just I overthink that stuff a lot. But
okay,
I'm sure I'll be fine.
You don't got nothing to worry about. I mean, I'm here. I'm holding your hand. I've been doing this for I can't even remember, but you're in good you're in good hands. Don't worry, you're in safe hands. I'm gonna take care of you. Anywho, so last time we were here, we did part 1, part 2 of this conversation of helping you start your own podcast. It's a financial podcast. Just maybe remind the people what the podcast is about again, just in case they forgot.
So it's I guess a little bit of a twist on financial literacy. Just sharing my experiences, my financial journey. And then relatable stories with other investors and entrepreneurs, just trying to show real world individuals how possible it is to invest and make money, grow your wealth in simple ways.
Right. Nice. And did we talk about the frequency of your episodes? How often you going to release new ones?
I don't think so.
No. Well, what's the frequency going to be?
I was thinking bi-weekly to start.
Uh-huh.
And then I want to ramp it up to at least weekly, and even if I can do a couple times a week, but at least start bi-weekly, kind of get the swing of things, and then ramp it up to at least once a week.
Okay, perfect. Now, the one thing I'm going to let you know of is whatever cadence you decide, just make sure that you can stick with it. Because, if you pick something that's a little bit aggressive twice a week or whatever, life has a way of testing that, right? Or the kids have a way of testing it, right? Or work or business. If something might try to say, hey, you're serious about podcasting, and kind of test your seriousness. So just make sure that whatever you pick, it's best to make sure that you don't
overstretch yourself, right? Or burden yourself, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'll start even just maybe once a month to start, something that I know consistently can do. And then kind of, even if in that time, 1 month, I have a multiple recorded, just wait until I'm at a point where I know consistently I can pump out a certain amount.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one episode that I recently did of my podcast, and I talk about picking a realistic cadence for your podcast and also how to batch record episodes, right? So that you can, like, if you have maybe half a day on a Saturday once a month, you can set that aside for all your podcasts and stuff. Record all your episodes, schedule all your interviews, and do all of the work regarding the podcast on that half a Saturday, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is, right? And then schedule those episodes out for the upcoming month. And you only need to do that once a month, pretty much, right? So your time is still kind of free, right? The thing about podcasting is this, that if you treat it like it's something that you're going to do when you have time, then it's always going to be on the back burner. But if you give it a scheduled time in your or a specific time in your schedule, you'll always make sure that it will always get done, right? So
that
that's
makes
very
perfect
important.
sense.
Just something to keep in mind. It's good to schedule, podcasting time in your calendar. All right. So these are tips to help you be successful, and for everyone else out there who's been following along, starting your podcast. Go back and listen to that episode of my podcast that I did, and I give a lot of very practical things that you can do so that you don't burn yourself out trying to podcast, but you put structure around your podcast and give it a place where you can actually focus and put some quality time into your podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty much been my theme for 2026 as well, structure.
Yeah.
I used to work, I think we spoke about, I worked in the recruitment industry for years, and I found like literally the most successful days were when the day before I pre-planned, I know who I was calling tomorrow and why, and it just made the following day so much easier. When I tried to just freestyle it and kind of go blindly into a day, it was such a challenge. So I'm really trying to lock down systems in everything that I do, things that are repeatable. It makes life so much easier.
Yes, wonderful. I gave you some homework last time when we spoke, and now I am checking your homework. All right. So first, I think the first one was the title of your podcast.
Yes.
All right. So what did you come back with regards to your title of your podcast? I think the last time you had Gnosis.
Yes.
Right. And I said that was a little too obscure or
Niche.
a little too specific, that people are not really going to really know what your podcast is about, or not even going to be searching for that on search engines. So it's going to be hard to find, right? So you took that away, and what did you come back with?
So I'm leaning more towards handsome investments, which kind of plays into the ecosystem that I have going on right now.
Right.
I have the Instagram page, Handsome Investments. I have a school community
Yeah.
called Handsome Investments. And then the subtitle being real estate, well, we're working on it, real estate, crypto, and wealth building for modern asset owners.
Right. Perfect. Okay, that's good. So work in progress, still kind of fine tuning it. Now, I know we were talking about this just before we hit the record button. You had a workshop that you recently did. And one of the things that I suggested that you do was to set up a MailChimp email list so that you can get people to join that list from the workshop. And when it's time to launch your podcast, you can send them the email. And you set up your podcast. You want to give us the story of what happened when you went to set up the MailChimp? Now, this is everyone pay attention, okay? Because this is a learning situation that you went through, right?
Absolutely.
And I hope everyone else learns from this as well. Go ahead, give us a story.
So, like with most things that we do lately or in current times, I just signed up without reading the terms and conditions. And I thought I knew what I was doing. I set it all up. I had the QR code. I'm starting to add it to my marketing material. And about 20, 30 minutes into it, I got an email saying that they're closing my MailChimp because I had the word, I think it was crypto education or the phrase crypto education, something along those lines. And it goes against their guidelines and terms and conditions. So they shut it down and I wasn't able to utilize it for the event. So definitely something to keep in mind. Read those terms and conditions. I'm so accustomed to just skimming through things, worrying about it later. But you gotta stuff like this definitely got to be a little more proactive and
Right.
just have a better understanding of what you're doing.
Right. So specifically for you, I could see how crypto, right, just the word by itself, which is what your podcast, it's one of the themes or the topics of your podcast. I can see how that can be like certain platforms can flag that as like spam because there have been lots of people who, bad actors who have had scams and they target people and said, hey, if you want to make crypto, join this, whatever. And it was a scam. They lost all their money, et cetera, et cetera. So I could see how companies can put this into their terms and conditions and flag certain accounts for certain keywords, right? So the lesson here for yourself and for everybody else is whatever it is that you are going to start, it will be a good idea to read those terms and conditions because so this applies to MailChimp, but it will also apply to your hosting, your podcast hosting, right? Read the terms and conditions because if you sign up for a certain hosting platform, if they have certain or similar terms and conditions where crypto podcasts are not allowed because it's linked to scams or spammy or whatever, they might shut you down as well. Right. So it's not to say that you can't have that in your title of your podcast. Be cautious and make sure that you pay very close attention to the terms and conditions.
Absolutely.
The worst thing that you want is to start and then maybe a few, weeks down the line, someone reports you and then they shut down your account and now you have to move, you lose all of the data, you lose all the analytics, you lose all your back episodes and all the work that you already started, all the momentum you gained on that platform. They cut you off and they shut you down and now you got to go start again, right? You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Yeah. So again, that's for you and for anyone else out there. Be very careful what you are putting in the titles of your podcast and what you're talking about, and read the terms and conditions to make sure that you're not violating anything from the podcast, from your hosting, I should say. Yeah. Okay. So the name, so another piece of homework for you, whichever hosting platform you decide to go with, read the terms and conditions and make sure that, whatever name you give your podcast doesn't cause any flags to go up as, spam or scam, content that you're going to be promoting. And this is a fine line that I guess you have to, given your topic, you're going to have to maneuver that line pretty much everything. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Now about hosting, have you thought about which platform you use to host?
I looked up a couple. Was it Anchor? It's owned by Spotify. And there was Buzzsprout.
Okay.
Those two I'm looking into.
Okay, good. So yeah, I have my podcast with Spotify for Creators, or formerly Anchor. And I've heard good things about Buzzsprout as well. So those are good platforms. I would actually lean more towards Buzzsprout.
Okay. Any reason in particular?
Yeah, the reason I would lean towards that is because I believe, unless they change things, the distribution to all of the other podcasting apps, they take care of all of that for you.
No way.
Right. So with Spotify for Creators, you'll set up your hosting, but you will have to take the RSS feed and put it to Apple Podcasts, to iHeartRadio, and all of the other podcasting apps, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and all of the other podcasting apps. You will have to do that yourself, right?
Okay.
But I think it's with Buzzsprout. You just need to set up your hosting, and then they send your podcast out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I would lean toward. But Spotify for Creators is free, and Buzzsprout, I believe that there's a free portion, but there's a cost if you want to. There's less limits if you want to pay. You have to pay for it though.
Okay.
So yeah, that's good. So you thought about your hosting, those are two excellent choices. All right.
Okay, cool.
What other homework did I give you last time?
You had asked me the influencers or pages, 5 accounts.
Right.
And I just really, I mean, you also asked me to kind of take a picture or capture some of their most
Yeah.
popular.
Do some research, some
Yeah.
homework. Yeah.
So I just actually used people that I watch pretty much every day,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in line with what I'm trying to do. Maybe not, obviously not exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take bits and pieces from each of them. But just again, like you said, cadence, how often they post, the material that they're posting, the motivational aspect of a lot of their posts and things of that nature is really the road that I'm trying to travel down. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah.
So what were some of the trends that you saw? What were some of the similarities with these accounts that you saw? Just maybe one or two.
So similarity, it's like affirmation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like speaking things into existence. They're just encouraging people like whatever you want out of life, you can actually do it. Like sharing examples of where they were even 5 years ago to where they are now,
Mm-hmm.
and why just as a human, you can really do anything you have in your heart, type of thing. Um, and I like the clarity of how they break things down. They simplify things. They don't act just because they might be financially well off. They don't act like they're better than anybody, or
Right.
again, they're not doing anything that an average person can grow to, or
Okay.
things of that nature. Yeah.
Perfect.
Relatability.
So it's good that you have these ones recorded, these accounts. Keep an eye on them. See what works well with them. See what gets a lot of engagement. And again, pay very close attention to what's successful for them. And then you now can create, I'm not saying copy them, but do something in the similar fashion, right? Be simplistic, right? Speak positively or encouraging to let people know that you can do this too. 5 years ago I was in HR. Now I'm here and I have all of this and everything, whatever, right? You can do that as well. So when you see something that is taken off for one of them, take note of it and see how you can create your own version of it, right? I'm not saying copy it, but create your own version using the same template, right? Yeah, I think that's a better word, the template, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's good. And this part of the homework, that part right there, it doesn't stop, okay? Because, a year from now, you might find another account who's killing it. And you might say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do some research on this account and see what I can learn, right? And apply to my podcasting or my promotion strategy when I have a new episode, right? So that's something that it's something that never stops, all right? Because even myself, one of the things that I learned recently, I was speaking to a podcaster, and she was sharing some strategies that she used to help promote her podcast. And it's amazing that I can come on like this podcast. I made a podcast. When I interview other podcasters who have been there, done that, and have success, I always make sure to pick their brain to see what I can learn from them and how I can implement it in my own podcast. Right. So always keep your eye out, always look, and then see what you can implement in your own to get yourself, a little bit more traction, a little bit more exposure, a little bit more engagement with your content.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. What was there anything else? Did we have to talk about? Did I ask you to redo your ideal listener?
Yes.
All right. So
And I
what
did
does he
that
look
as well.
like? What does he look like?
So my ideal listener is, and it's cool. I didn't even realize this, but it just kind of lines up with what we were just talking about. But future asset owner who hasn't yet built their financial flywheel. People who want to understand how the system works so they can build intelligently within it. Basically, just serving disciplined, financially curious operators who want to transition from earning income to owning assets.
Perfect. Hold on a second. Before you continue, do you see how that is? So say, for example, we're sitting at the table right now, right? Say you're sitting at the table and you're talking to someone else. I'm a big brand and I have advertising dollars that I want to give to podcasters. Do you see how you just described that ideal listener? If it fits the ideal client that I have or the ideal customer for me, I could be like, oh, that's a type of listener you are focusing on. That's the exact type of person that I'm trying to sell my products to or my services to, my financial services. So when you have that ideal listener nailed down. And the first thing that you said, actually, future asset owners, right? Beautiful. I love that. So it gives me the state of where these people are and helps me to realize the types of things that they might need at that point in time. And you might be delivering it with your podcast, but as a brand, I'm thinking, hey, I know a perfect product or service that people in that specific state would want to have. Here, let me give you $50,000 for you to talk about my product in between one of your podcasts. That's how it works. That's why nailing down that ideal listener is so critical.
Yeah. No, I
So
agree.
critical.
I agree.
Yeah. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you, man.
A plus
Thank you.
plus for that one, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Really good, man. That was really good. Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to add to
No,
that?
no,
ideal
no.
listener?
I was saying just before, sorry, that it's cool. It didn't click until I was talking about it, but it literally lines
Right.
up with like the motivation, the stuff that I'm using as a case study or motivation, things of that nature. It's really starting to come
Excellent.
together. So
Excellent.
it's really cool.
You know, something else that just come into my mind actually is look at these other 5 accounts that you follow. See if they have any sponsored posts or if they're working with any other brands, right? And you can actually make note of that as well, because these could be potential brands that you can reach out to as well. It takes a lot of like cold calling and cold emailing and stuff like that to actually, connect with them. But it would be a good idea to see who they are working with, if they're doing any sponsored posts on their social media or on their podcast or whatever, YouTube, anything, and just make note of it, because those are people that you could potentially reach out to as well. Okay, like literally, the template for anyone out there right now for them to follow, it's literally right there. You just need to do the research and then do the work to make the connection. And then once you have that connection, once you get a response back in an email or you get a call back from someone, you let them know what it is that you do and your numbers and how much people listen, your email list and everything like that, who your ideal listener is. And then they're willing to work with you, right? If you have good quality content, right? If you're not trying to spam people, if you're giving value to the people who are listening, because they're going to listen to your content, right? You'll have this conversation with them and they'll throw money at you. Literally, they'll be like, oh, you are talking to the exact person that I want to talk to. You have so much good information. People love you. I see all of the engagement on your social media, and I see your podcast is a top 10% listened to podcast in the world, right? And you'll get there, right? But they'll see all of these things and be like, yes, I absolutely want you to, here, take my money and talk about my product for maybe 15 seconds in your next episode. You'll absolutely get there. But when you nail down all of those key things and do the research, those are the things, the prerequisites before you get there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's, again, like we just keep hitting the nail on the head. Like when you mentioned earlier about systems, right?
Yes.
It's just developing that system from the beginning and continuously putting in that work so that when these opportunities do come about, it's just clockwork. It plugs into your system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's excellent. All right. What other homework did I give you?
When do you want to start?
Yeah. When's your launch date? What were you looking at?
So again, with the nerves, like, so originally I told myself I wanted to do it by like the end of this month. Like literally today is the 19th. So like this weekend almost, right?
Okay.
But I'm going to push it to, let's do the 27th. Next Friday, I'll have at least one episode recorded, ready to go, structurally sound.
So
ready to launch.
February 27th?
Next weekend.
Okay. You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
That too. I could push it back. What I've been doing, and again, because the nerves is what has really been like handicapping me, but I little by little I just put little things together. You suggested using ChatGPT, and I've been doing that. So like if I in my school community, I'll put a post and then I'll ask ChatGPT, based on this, let's put some basic stuff together for a podcast episode, or stuff like that. So like the fundamentals are there, bits and pieces. It's just a matter of really setting aside some time and just getting at it.
Okay, good. So here's what I will say. Now let's talk about the launch strategy. Okay. So you said you'll have one episode ready. All right. I don't think that's good enough.
No? Okay.
It's not good. I don't think it's good enough, because if you just have one episode when you launch, what if someone listens to that one episode and they love it, but there's nothing else for them to listen to?
That's fair.
They might forget about you. They might not subscribe, and they'll probably never
See you again.
see your podcast again, right?
Yeah.
Here's a better approach to launching your
gonna write this down.
podcast.
Yep.
Okay. Step number 1. So we talked about your backstory, right? So that makes up your introductory episode. Who you are, right? Incite an incident in your life and your defining moment to say, this is the direction that I'm going, right? That's part of your introductory episode. When people find your podcast for the first time, hopefully when they want to figure out more about who you are, that's the episode that they go to.
Okay.
And then in that episode also, you talk about how you can help people. So you give your backstory, your inciting incident, your defining moment, and then you transition into, and this is why I started this podcast, because I want to help you. You speak to your ideal listener and you share how you will help them. Number 1, right? You share how you will help them. You'll also share how your content will help them to feel, right? So if you felt stuck or felt trapped in your 9 to 5 and you saw all of these people getting successful at, crypto and investments and real estate and all these other things, I'm going to help you to learn how to do that, and you will feel that success as well, right? So you're going to tell them how you're going to help them to feel the emotional part of it, right? And then number 3, that was number 3. Number 2 would be to tell them how you are going to solve whatever problem you're solving with your content, right? If it's a educational podcast, that you're educating them on the financial side of crypto, of investing, of real estate, and et cetera, you are sharing how you will help them solve that problem that your ideal listener is facing. All of that is your introductory episode, your first episode, episode 1. Okay? So that's one episode. That should be released on the first day, your launch date. You should also release up to 2 more episodes, right? And I don't know if I told you this before, but I'll mention it now. The reason why you do that is because you want to make sure that people have more to listen to. Because if they listen to this one episode, your introductory episode, and they like it, you want to give them more. You want them to listen to at least 3 episodes back to back to back, and then hit the subscribe button, because they'd be like, I now like this guy. I can trust him. I feel what he's saying, and I know he's talking directly to me. And he has proven that over 3 episodes of his podcast. I bet you the 4th is going to be the same thing, and it's going to be exactly what I need to hear.
Smart.
You get me?
Okay.
So that's why, and when you first launch your podcast, you put out at least 3 episodes. Okay. So that might change your start date a little bit. Okay. But I want to make sure that you can start and get the most amount of traction, the most amount of downloads, the most amount of people subscribing, and just waiting for the next episode that you have to drop. Cool. Right? So that's the successful launch strategy. Now, in addition to that, you will also, before I actually get there, your introductory episode, half of it is pretty much, you have that already, right? We've done the backstory, and your ideal listener, who it's for, their problems, and how you intend for them to feel after you deliver your content. So you have it all inside of you already. You just need to record it.
Yep.
Right. So that one episode is done, and then you just go into your list, your episode list, episodes 2 and 3. You record those, and those episodes are done. Right.
Cool.
And they're published. So it might change your start date. But again, pick something that is realistic so that you can have those episodes done, edited, and good to go.
Cool.
All right. Now, the we talk about how to get people hyped about it? I don't think we talked about it, right?
So, no.
Okay. So what you want to do is be social on social media, right? Duh. Sorry. Sometimes I say things that are obvious, and then but people have social media and they're not social.
It's true though. That's very true.
Anyways, but you want to be social on social media and tell people that your podcast is coming. There's something that I heard a while ago, long time ago actually. If you don't toot your own horn, there's no music. So you make sure that you be the one to be the champion of what you're doing, because you know that it's going to help your ideal listener. Yeah. So make sure that you share, not the flyers, but your artwork for your podcast on your Instagram, on your social media. If you can get like your email list or anything up and running again, or next time you do a workshop, share it, let them know. We talked about, I think the suggestion that I gave you is when you did your workshop was to have a QR code and have people go to the QR code and join the mailing list, right? That's something that other, podcasters who are starting, you can do that beforehand to kind of build the momentum, get people on the wait list. And then also that QR code, I keep one on my phone so that if I'm ever talking with someone and, like I was at a birthday party with my son, and all the parents were sitting around talking, and I brought up, hey, yeah, I'm a podcaster. I have a couple podcasts. And you're like, oh, really? I love listening to podcasts. Mm-hmm. Instead of them going away trying to search for it on their phone and find it, you just whip out your phone with the QR code and say, hey, just scan here, and it will take you directly to it. Mm-hmm. It leaves that, it removes all of the obstacles or the chances that they won't find it, because they could go away and they might search for it. They might find something else. They might not find it at all. They might not do it at all, right? But when you give them a QR code, say, hey, scan here, it will, they'll have it directly on their phone, and they can subscribe right there on the spot while they're in front of you, right? What I did was I showed the guy and I said, yeah, here, just scan here, right? And he's like, oh, this it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, just hit follow or hit subscribe. I think he was on Spotify. So you hit follow. I'm like, just hit the follow button. And every time I release a new episode, you'll get it. Just there, right? And he did it right in front of you. Like if I said that to him, what's he gonna say? No, I'm not gonna follow you. So, it's kind of like you put them on the spot. On the spot, yeah. But at the same time, if they want to unfollow you afterwards, if they find out it's not for them, then they can do that, right? But at least you gave them an opportunity, and you did all you can do to expose your podcast to a new listener. Use that QR code, keep it on your phone. And, when you're talking with people just in passing, hey, I started a new podcast here. You want to scan here and you can check it out when like if you just see something like an old friend somewhere, you can just bring it up that way to them. So in terms of before you launch, yes, just promote, right? Look at what these 5 people are doing and how they're promoting their stuff, and you do something similar. You got to get the attention and get the excitement out there. Yeah, now, did I ask you, I don't know if I asked you this before, is there 5 people in your life who said you should be a podcaster? Or you should share more insight about your podcast? Family members included. So if you want to use your wife,
my wife, you, a friend of mine, Marcella, that I did the workshop with. Okay. My mortgage broker, Keith. Quite a few people. His name is Richard, but he has a pretty decent YouTube channel, and he has been we're in a financial group chat. Okay. And I'm always sharing insights on.
So what does Richard do? What does he do?
He a retired TTC. And now he's just like a full-time podcaster and YouTuber.
Nice.
Like travels to Dubai and Africa. Like it's really, really nice. Well done. And he's on me like, bro, you need to do your own.
Nice. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect because that could be a potential guest. I don't know what you guys will talk about. But,
yeah, absolutely.
And the point that I'm bringing up. So I said when people launch, I tell them to at least get 5 people, but the more people that you can get, the better, right? But have at least these 5 people be your champions, all right? The first month of your podcast, those first few episodes, you specifically go up to them, email them, text them, have a conversation with them, pick up the phone, call them, whatever. But you let them know that you're starting your podcast, right? And then ask them to listen to it, ask them to share it with their network, and ask them also to give you feedback, right? Those 3 things are very important, okay? Especially the feedback, okay? The sharing and for them to listen, those things, people will listen to it. People will share it if it's good. But the feedback, not everybody will give you feedback, all right? Because when you do a podcast, sometimes I'm in here and I'm doing this podcast like by myself. I'm in the room by myself talking to a microphone and a camera. And I think I'm great. I think I'm great. But I don't know, the person listening on the other side might think I'm great too. But he might have a few adjustments that I should make in my delivery that might make me better, right? So ask for feedback, right? Those 3 things. So ask them to listen to your podcast, ask them to share it every single episode with their network and the people that they know, either by like an email list or in their group chats, or just, tell people on their social media, hey, this is Miles' new podcast. My friend Miles, can you guys listen to it? Tell me what you think. And then ask them to give you feedback after they listen to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did something similar. I was a guest on another podcast, and I mean, I'll do the same with this as well. But as soon as it launched, actually before it launched, I told family, like even in England, I told my aunt in England, like I'm going to be on this. And it happened to be, we were at my unit in Niagara, my whole family, my wife, my kids, my dad, my siblings, my Aunt Juliet, like a bunch of us were all there. And I went on to the balcony to record the podcast, and I didn't realize, but like all of them were downstairs watching it on their phones.
They were live streaming?
It was a live stream.
Oh, nice.
And they were all watching it on their phones, and a bunch of people gave feedback. And then afterwards, I just continued sharing it to friends. The one critique was it was just a little too long. But like, yeah, you're right. I need people's feedback, get people's, because everybody's going to have different opinions and like different things, dislike different things. And it's good to add those things to your...
Absolutely. Yeah. And you want to listen to those feedback and then see if you get one thing, just put it in your pocket. But if you get multiple people saying the same thing, pay attention to that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So like with regards to the length of the podcast, like if someone says it's too long, or if multiple people say it's too long, pay attention to that. Look at the analytics, right? Because the analytics will show you the engagement of certain episodes when people stop listening, right? You might see it could be 100% for maybe like the first 20 minutes, and then after that it just kind of drifts off.
Yeah.
People's attention span
very short.
So then you can adjust your episode length, right? So instead of having a 40-minute podcast where people drop off halfway through, have 2 20-minute podcasts, right? And hopefully people will listen for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. These are ways that you can adjust your podcast as you continue to, learn and take feedback and look at the data and see what it's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Now, in terms of every single episode, when you are going to release a new episode, there's a few things that you should look for in the episode in order to promote those things. Okay. So I have them written down here. So you can look for a contrarian idea or thought. And basically what that means is something that goes against the conventional wisdom or the norms in that specific arena, whatever it is, right? Something that people wouldn't normally think of, or a way to approach. If you have a conversation with someone and they bring up something that, oh, that's kind of novel, I never thought about that. That thought would make for a good short form clip to post on social media to promote your episode. Okay. Or if they have something really, really strong, like sometimes I give a lot of good one-liners sometimes, right? When I give a good one-liner or when I listen to someone, I'm listening if they give like really, really strong quotes about something powerful. Yeah. I mark it down on my paper when I'm talking to them, and I might use that as like a quote, or take that snippet of the video and share it on social media to promote, that episode coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The other thing is if they mention like a specific takeaway. So if you're talking to someone and they're talking about how to scale your residential or your real estate portfolio, and if they give a really cool strategy, really specific strategy, right? That's something, a really specific takeaway of how you can take, your line of credit and use it to buy another house or another whatever, right? And flip that into something else, whatever it is, right? You can use that. Pay attention when you're speaking to someone or when you're given this information, if you give something a really good takeaway. And the last thing is if there is anything shared that will bring up a lot of tension, right? So a lot of people who share stuff on social media, and I ask this question because you can actually, when you're interviewing people, you can actually manufacture this tension, right? I usually ask this question. I'm doing it more so now this season of I Made a Podcast, but I ask this question. What's one piece of wisdom that you got when you started podcasting that you realize is complete garbage? Right? And depending on whatever their answer is, they're going to give you something that I think maybe everybody has heard, right? And it creates tension because everyone, like for example, posting every day on social media, right? People think that that's the way to succeed on social media, but it's not, right? I know people who post maybe like once every 2 weeks, and their platform just continues to skyrocket. Why? Because they hit critical things. These things that I'm mentioning here, they they stick close to them, and they give very good insights with regards to a contrarian idea, a strong quote, right? That's very shareable, that really changes the way people's thinking. They also give really good takeaways, right? Or they share something that creates a lot of tension, right?
You say that, and that makes so much sense. Because, like, I'd be wondering, like, and I mean, right now on social media, we're seeing a lot of people saying, like, don't buy a home. Your home is not an asset. And I used to think, like, why would people say that? But sometimes it's just to get that engagement. They might
Absolutely
now get engagement and then say, I said that, but this is da 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 da.
Yeah.
Where that makes sense because you're invoking emotion.
There's a
I never
guy.
thought of that.
There's a guy, and I'm sure you know him. He's the Canadian investor. What's his name? Jim, I think is his name. The lazy Canadian investor. He's a Chinese guy, or Asian guy, I
Yes,
shoe.
yes, with the glasses.
With the glasses,
That's
right?
exactly what I'm thinking.
That's okay. We're thinking about the same guy. So, if you watch how he posts, his first line creates a lot of tension.
Absolutely.
A lot of tension. He may say, "This is why you're poor,"
Yeah.
or he might say, "You're wasting your life working a job," or
Yeah.
something
Or
like that.
he said the other day, like, $10 million is not enough to retire.
Oh, exactly, right? When you hear that, you're looking at it and you're like, "What are you talking about? If I had $10 million, I could retire." And in your mind, you're like, "Okay, let me hear what this guy's saying. Why would that not be enough to retire?" Right? So you see how it works. If I ever had to get a case study or do a case study of how people can capture attention on social media, I would use
No, he's great.
him. He does a really good job,
Absolutely.
right? Actually, with these 4 things, right? He can give a contrarian idea. He may take a really strong quote and use it up front, and he may give you specific takeaways of how to restructure your finances so that you can quit your job and live off your investments, right? And he also starts his content with something that might bring a little tension into the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are takeaways for you when you are promoting your episodes. Or sorry, not when you're promoting your episodes, when you're recording your episodes, you might want to think about questions to ask or things that you can say that hit one of these 4 areas. All right.
Cool.
And then once you're cutting it up and you're going to promote it, you take those things that you mentioned in the episode and you promote them and say, I talk, this is a little clip from this upcoming episode, and you can listen to it here and click this link in my bio to listen to the full episode where I go into more detail about it. Right?
Yep.
It's very strategic, but now we're getting into the strategy of how we get people to listen to our podcast,
Yeah.
right? All right.
I need to do that for my reels as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Everything you could do, everything you do on social media, you can't, if you just start social media and you just, actually, this is one of the insights that I had from the podcaster that I recently spoke to. Actually, her episode released today that we're recording this. Her name is Remy Roy.
Okay.
And her podcast, when she started in 2016, I believe she said, she had no strategy for promotion. And she eventually quit her podcast. She stopped. She gave up because it wasn't giving the results that she wanted. But then she didn't quit completely. So she got back into it with a better strategy. And now her podcast is I think it's a top 2% listened to podcast in the world.
Wow.
It's called The Driven Introvert. Go listen to, on your way home, listen to my conversation with her. I released it today. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that she talked about in that conversation that we had, specific things that you can do. And you can try it out and see how it works for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
But the promotion, you got to have a strategy with your podcast. If you just build it and they will come, they won't come.
I'm kind of learning that the hard way. Not to say that I don't have a strategy, but a way to grab attention is not something that I thought of properly. So absolutely, I think that will help me all the way around. So,
Yeah. And it's risky because you might say things, you might get people hating in the comments or might get turned off by certain comments, depending on what you say. It's risky, but at the same time, there's no such on social media. I don't think there's anything as bad engagement or negative engagement, because even if you say something that angers someone, and if they comment on it, as long as it's something not like hateful, disrespectful, right? Yeah. You could give a strong point that is opposed to what everybody else thinks, right? Even if they oppose it, they'll get in the comments. The algorithm eats that stuff up, right?
That's true.
Even haters, if they want to hate on your content, let them hate.
Absolutely.
The algorithm will say, hey, people are engaging with it. Let's promote it to more people. Let's share this to a broader group of people because it's getting a lot of engagement. You got to think about these apps, right? They make money when people stay on them.
Yeah. Attention is currency.
Exactly. So anything that is going to keep people's attention, if you are sharing something that's going to keep people's attention, the algorithm is going to continue to suggest it to more people because that's what these platforms want. They want people on their app. And any content that we share that can keep people on their app, the algorithms love it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Right?
Yep.
So I think we're pretty much it. This is it. I think you have everything you need to launch your podcast. I'm going to create a little certificate.
Okay, thank you. I need everything because
I'm going to create a little certificate, put your name on it. I'm going to do it in Canva when I get home. And I'm going to put a seal on it and say that you are now a podcaster.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you have to do is figure out your launch date. All right. The few things that we mentioned in this conversation, and the launch strategy and the promotion strategy for every single episode. Right. But if you do these things and you are consistent, you're going to continually see your podcast grow. And don't be discouraged when maybe like in the first month, you only get maybe like 100 downloads or something like that in the month. Don't be discouraged, because what will happen is the more promotion and the more episodes you share, the more people are going to find you. And then when they do find you, they're going to have, like, say, for example, I give this example to the person I spoke to yesterday. If you be consistent and you continue to share your do your podcast and release episodes in every week for the next, 20 weeks, if a new person finds you on week 20, they're going to have 20 episodes that they can consume, right? And then if they like something, they might share it to someone else, and that's a new person that might find you that will have 20 episodes. And if you continue to be consistent, on week 50, if you find a new person to listen to your podcast, they're going to have 50 episodes that they can consume. So what you will see as you continue to be consistent, the downloads will look like this, kind of like a gentle line going up. But then you're going to hit an inflection point where it's going to start to be exponential, and it's going to start to really curve and go up. right? Because the more consistent you be, the more content there will be in your backlog, the more people will be able to go in and listen to what you have to say and learn from what you have to say. So the name of the game is to be consistent. All right.
Cool.
I don't want to put pressure on you, but I would say if you're in it for less than a year, don't even start.
Yeah.
But if you can stay in this podcasting game, give it at least a year and you do the work, you will see the results, the downloads, the engagement, and things will start to take off for you.
I believe that wholeheartedly. My wife and I were talking about that today, where like a lot of the people that I follow on YouTube, they've been in the game at least since like COVID or just before. Like it's years of putting in the work. I think what I guess makes me nervous and what I overthink the most is, do I have enough material? But it's like really and truly, I thought that when I started on this Instagram page as well. And now we're maybe 5 months in and I have over 170 posts, and you know what I mean? So as you go, it'll come.
Here's another thing that you can use. I know you're friends with ChatGPT, right? So you can use ChatGPT, and again, it's called prompt engineering, right? Obviously, I'm a technology background and stuff like that, so it's called prompt engineering. That's tailoring the questions that you ask ChatGPT so that you can get the best possible results. Okay, so ask ChatGPT, type in the pillars for your podcast, and ask it to search the current trends that are getting a lot of engagement on blog posts or on social media content or whatever, and ask it to suggest content or answer questions or give you topics that people are asking questions about related to whatever your core pillars are. Actually, what you can do is ask it to give you a content calendar for the next 52 weeks.
Okay.
And it will give, and be specific. If you don't want anything to be repeated, say don't repeat anything, and allow every single, week, every single point that you suggest, allow it to be something that people are searching for online or something that can be helpful related to this, and this. All right. And you just ask ChatGPT and it will go out, search the World Wide Web. And that's why I love ChatGPT, right? It is so powerful because it can go out and do all of this research for you and give you good information that you can actually now use, right? It can even if you find a topic, you can ask it to write an outline for you.
Oh, absolutely. So like I'm learning to day trade. And my sister, she plays soccer in France, and she's trying to learn to day trade as well. So she's messaging me, asking me like, what have I learned? She's sharing what she's learned, et cetera, et cetera. And I one major key, it took me a very long time to learn, is that like with anything else, you got to let the market come to you. Like don't try to predict what it's doing. Wait until it confirms what it's doing and then do what you're doing.
Yep.
So I asked ChatGPT, can you give me a soccer example using this methodology that I could share with my sister?
Yeah,
and
nice.
it broke it down like using soccer
Simple,
terms, and she was like, thank you, like this is perfect. So
Wonderful.
you're absolutely right. It captures all this information for you. You put the appropriate prompts and it really does a lot of the legwork, and then you take it to the next level.
So use the technology, right? But at the same time, make sure that you read it, because sometimes it will give you stuff that you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Right? So, but for the most part, if you ask very specific questions and you give it a good prompt, it will give you quality results. Obviously, read it over, make sure that it's something that it's exactly what you're looking for, and it's not, and it's real. And because I don't know if it, depending on how you put it in, it might give you back something else that's maybe false or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes bad calculations,
bad content, right? So you need to always do your due diligence when you're working on ChatGPT. But it's an amazing tool. It's so powerful to do research and to get information, for you to make better decisions or to start the process, especially a creative process like this where you're generating ideas to get your mind flowing on stuff. It's amazing tool. So this is it. You're a podcaster.
Thank you, man.
Do you have any questions before we wrap up now?
No, man. Honestly, as I do on all the episodes, I thank you for your time, for your guidance, for your hand holding, as you mentioned. Like, honestly, you're making this a reality. For the longest, I mean, like you asked, multiple people have asked me, when are you going to do
Yeah.
something like this? And you've kind of helped me grab the bull by the horn. So I appreciate it big time, man. Big time.
Wonderful. One thing I forgot to ask you. So, in terms of recording your podcast and editing the technical parts of it,
Yes.
you're taking care of that. I think you said that you were doing it at someone else's studio, right?
Yes. So I have a friend that offered their studio. I'm also, because like I said, I started day trading, so I set up a little office in my house
Perfect.
that I'm thinking to use
Use
as
as
well.
a podcast studio.
Yeah. Because
If you could get the quiet time when the kids are at
exactly
school.
when everybody's gone, honestly.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah.
so I'm just working on kind of tweaking that area a little bit, cleaning it up, because I actually like the idea of having my screens behind me and all that
Nice.
stuff. So we'll see, but yeah.
So, in terms of editing the podcast now, are you going to do that?
I found 2 people on Fiverr,
Yeah.
just in case. I want to try it myself first, because like what I do with IG, I edit everything, I do everything myself.
Okay.
But if it becomes a little overwhelming, or if I fall short, I want to know that I at least have a backup.
Right.
So I found 2 people on Fiverr that are not crazy expensive, $60
Okay.
type of thing. So yeah.
Okay, good. So, because that's the other thing too. So, a lot of people, this is where a lot of people burn out. They start a podcast and they want to do it and they have all this enthusiasm, but the editing part of it, if you don't have the patience to, because there's a learning curve with whoever tool you use, there's a learning curve. If you get frustrated with that tool or the editing process, that will cause you to give up your podcast.
I believe that.
That's a lot of people give up right there because they can't handle the editing part. It takes too long, because there's too much things that they don't like or whatever.
They don't make it look exactly how they envisioned it.
Exactly. But if you're technically able to do it yourself and it doesn't take a lot of time, go with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try at
Right?
least.
And then if it doesn't work out, you have a backup.
Exactly.
You have your people on fire,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, excellent. Well, congratulations, sir. You have graduated. You have your cap and gown, imaginary cap and gown, and your certificate will be sent to you. Yeah, you put the tassel over to the other side, right? Your certificate will be sent to you in the mail, okay? And congratulations to everyone else out there who followed along in this process with Miles to get his podcast started. If you've followed along and done all the work that we talked about to get your podcast started, congratulations. Let me know, send me a message, and I will email you a certificate as well that you are now a podcaster, okay? So remember, the best time to start a podcast was 10 years ago, and the second best time is right now. So go ahead and make it happen. And I will see you next week on I Made a Podcast. Peace.
Okay, man.
Congratulations, man. You're a podcaster.
That's so cool, man. Thank you, bro.